everybody, welcome back to my channel. You have Tasha Miller here, and today we're going to be talking about how to edit your manuscript. This is how I edit my stuff. If it doesn't work for you, I am sorry, but hopefully this video helps. Number one, put in your manuscript to the side. There's two ways that you can do this. You can do it by chapter. It's going to make the process a lot longer, but if you want to do it that way, you are welcome to, or you can write your whole first draft and then put it to the side. The point of this is just to forget your work, and you can come with a fresh mind, and you can edit the manuscript so much easier, because it'll be like you're editing someone else's work. Remember, in this time, you are not just being lazy and doing anything. You are working on your marketing, you are working on your sequel, you are reading, because the more you read, the better you write. This is not the time to be lazy. This is the time to still work your butt off. Number two, listening to your novel. There's a couple ways that you can do this. You can have a person read it to you, or you can use your computer. If you're Windows users, there's a few things that you can do. You can use narration on your computer, or you can use Microsoft Word, the text-to-speech, or you can just go on Google Translate on the internet and copy and paste everything there. If you're a Mac user, you can also use narration or text-to-speech. Go ahead and pause the video and go through these steps. Once you're finished with that, just highlight something you want to hear and it'll read it to you. The next steps, what you need to do is you can either use your highlighter or you can make notes as you go along. You don't want to get overwhelmed, so you don't want to start working on all the little stuff first. You want to work on the bigger things and then move down to the little things. Number three, working on the structure of your novel. So this is when you want to work on your 9 steps. I did do several videos on this, so I will leave a link down below. I will not discuss everything about it. I'll just show you the graph and tell you what the 9 things that you need to have in your structure. So this is the graph that you need to do. As you can see, everything is going up. So your action, your plot, everything needs to keep rising. You do need to have your hook, background, trigger, crisis, struggle, epiphany, plan, a climax, and end. All of those, like I said, I went over in great detail, so I highly recommend that you look at it, because without all those 9 steps, you don't really have a novel. Number 4, the adding and deleting phase. If you're an overwriter, this is the time where you're definitely going to be pushing that delete button constantly, because you're going to be getting rid of paragraphs or chapters that don't go with the flow or don't make sense, or you just don't really need them. If you're an underwriter, you're going to be doing a lot more adding. You're going to want to get rid of all the its, things like that don't tell you a lot of description, and your job is to add. So the underwriters usually have a lot more work in this step, because the overwriters, you just have to press the delete button, but the underwriters, like myself, you have to sit there and you have to add, you have to go through everything, and you have to make sure that you are showing, not telling. There's 2 things that you should be doing in this step. One, you should be going from the beginning to the end to work on the flow and not jumping around. And also get your highlighters out or get your pens out and make notes or highlight things that you want to work on. You don't want to get stuck and just start working on them. You just want to highlight them and move on. So what I mean about working on your flow and working on plot holes, if you're on a plane and suddenly you end up in the desert, we want to know how you got to the desert. Number 5, working on your punctuation. Look at each paragraph and make sure that there isn't tons of parentheses, ellipses, or colons floating around, because it'll get very distracting for your reader, especially if you're using them wrong. Most readers will just put it down. You can end the sentence by putting a period, or you can put a comma. I don't recommend tons of comma slices, but a comma is a little better than not knowing what a semicolon is and just putting it in there. And remember, you can actually look things up. It's okay. There's no shame in doing research. I recommend it. Number 6, working on the individual word. This is the longest step. I can't go over absolutely everything because there's just so much, but I can give you a few pointers that really helped me. First, your goal is to have active writing, so you want to get rid of words that end in ly and ing as much as possible, simply because they're not very descriptive or they're very passive. Here's an example. He moved quickly through the woods, or he creeped through the woods. Now, the first one gets the job done, but the second one is just a lot more descriptive. It'll get your readers into the story more. The second step is to get rid of words that mean the same thing. These are some examples. Drop down, combine together, bouquet of flowers, ATM machine, annual anniversary. All of those things mean the same exact thing. I underlined the one that you should get rid of. This is just going to make your writing stronger. The third step is to get rid of prepositions and unnecessary words. We'll do prepositions first, things like of, in, to, for. I'll give you an example. The brush of my sister's is easily my sister's brush. See how you got rid of? A lot of people do this because they want to sound smarter, but really it just portrays off to your readers. Now for the unnecessary words are usually start to, that, make, things, it. I'll give you an example of each. We're going to start with start to and make because those are usually used the same way. So this is a sentence that reads, did you start to hold her hand? You can change that and get rid of start to and it'd be, did you hold her hand? It's a lot more straightforward. Those are unnecessary words. So if anybody ever says, don't put unnecessary words in your manuscript or get rid of them, it's things like that. Now for the word that. I decided that I want to be a teacher. Whereas if you take that away, I decided I want to be a teacher. It's just a lot more straightforward again. You're getting rid of those unnecessary words. It just makes everything a lot more clearer. For the last two, things in it, those are not descriptive words. You want to get rid of them as much as possible and put in what it is or what the thing is. It doesn't paint a picture of what your protagonist is going through. I did a little example. It was a warm, sunny day. Or the sun burned her pale, sweaty flesh. You can go into so much more detail, but the second part was just a lot more descriptive. You got rid of the it, and you showed me what it is. If I was the reader and I was reading that, I would start to sweat, or I would know what a sweaty, hot day felt like. Number 7, read your manuscript or listen to it a few more times. At this point, all of your big things should be finished. So when you're reading through, it should just be little things that pop out. You want to make sure that you're doing it from the beginning to the end still. You don't want to bounce around because you're still working on the flow. You're still checking everything that you already did just to make sure that you didn't miss anything. In this phase, you can also put it down for a week or so, or you can give it to beta readers because your big thing should be finished. We're just working on the small thing. Number 8. Polishing your work. So this is when you start adding your title page, your copyright page, your dedication page, the table of contents in the front of the book, and also your about me or about the author in the back of the book or any other links that you want. One thing I do recommend, especially if you're going to use Kindle, get rid of all the double spaces. If you're using Word, it's really easy. You just go to replace, you put 2 spaces, and then you go to fix and you put 1 space. Press enter and then it'll replace all the 2 spaces with 1. Remember, in this step, you're also repeating several of the steps because you want to polish. You want to make it as perfect as you can so you can do the next one. Number 9, send it to an editor. Yes, I am so sorry. You always have to send it to a professional editor, even if you went through all of these steps. They are professionals. They know exactly what to do. They're going to make it even more polished. But the harder you work on it and the more work you put into it, the less you'll get charged. Then it's the dreadful wait, and they send it back to you with tons of red lines and things you need to change, and you'll have to start the process all over again. No one said that writing is easy. In fact, it is a full-time job. Alright everybody, that's all I have for you today. If you are a overwriter and underwriter, these steps will help you. I hope you enjoyed it. Definitely leave me a comment below or like this video. You can also tweet me at Tasha Y. Miller if you have any questions. Alright, bye everybody. Zena wants to say hi and bye to everybody.